Hello, 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 welcome back to the Saba Show, and today we've got a late night edition of Dice Footy. I mean, when this is coming out, obviously, it's a completely different time, but regardless, here's the ladder, you know the deal, here's the results from the last round. You can see it's bloody even. I don't know how many teams are on 5 wins, but if you lose and you're in that lot, you're going down a long, long way. But yeah, let's see who picks up the points in this round. So we're going to start things off with a top 8 clash. It is Carlton taking on second place Sydney at home, and Carlton start off with a maximum. That's a brilliant start by them. The Swans, modest start for them, but they do trail by a couple goals at quarter time. Second quarter, the Blues build on a strong start, have a pretty decent enough second quarter. They were pretty accurate, but the Swans, I mean, been a pretty formidable opponent this season, and they showed that in the second quarter. They are only down 1. Third quarter, the Blues are inaccurate. What they did in the second quarter has been completely undone with regards to accuracy. Luckily for them, the Swans have done the exact same thing. So this is going to be a ripper last quarter. And the Blues kick 5 goals 6. So they're in with a very, very good shot of picking up all 4 points. They're going to need the Swans 37 points, I do believe. And they kick 6 goals. Oh my God, they're going to win. They are going to win, I believe, by a few points. They win 120 to 120. They've stolen it at the death. Fair play to them. Next up is Geelong and Port Adelaide. I could have sworn that Geelong were in the top 8 at some point, and they've slipped all the way to what I believe is second last. I may have actually inputted that wrong, but regardless, we can see that there's a clear disparity nonetheless in terms of ladder position, and Port Adelaide have started significantly better. The Cats' second quarter is much improved on the first. Let's see if they can hold the lead at half time. No, they cannot. First half was very disappointing on the defensive side of the ball. Let's see if they can fix that up in time, to pick up the 4 points. But it doesn't look like it. That offense was a bit dodgy in the third quarter. And the power, well, they managed to one-up Geelong in that department and actually did a hell of a lot worse. So the Cats are only down by 8 points, and they can win this game. But it doesn't look like the gods, want Geelong to win. I mean, this has happened numerous times this year. I think they've kicked 20 behinds on one occasion and choked it at the end. It looks like the Power have won. Mind you, I think it was always going to happen. They win this one by about 2 goals. We've got a top 4 clash of the season right here. The Bulldogs are taking on the Gold Coast Suns in a top 4 clash. I mean, who ever thought that was going to happen? I don't think anyone would have, predicted that one. But it's been a low-scoring start here by the looks. 1 goal 6 is not going to help your cause in winning a game. Bulldogs have been a tough side to knock off. The Suns have done a pretty good job. Well, they did in the first quarter, then let the goals pile on. And the Suns have been really inaccurate at the start. They've kicked the maximum amount of behinds, and that sees them trail at half time. The third quarter by the Dogs is somewhat decent. They have trotted along to about 80 points in 3 quarters. The Suns, I mean, they just keep on kicking behinds. This is absolutely unbelievable. 18 behinds in 3 quarters, and you would have thought they would be in the lead given the amount of scoring shots, but unfortunately it's not the case. Accuracy, you're going to be rewarded if you can kick accurately, and it looks like the Dogs are going to be the guys that reap the rewards, and the Suns end on 9 goals 20, which is really ugly viewing, but the Dogs win by 5 goals. Next up, we've got the North Melbourne Kangaroos and the D's. The D's have dropped off a little bit. They were on top for quite some time, and since that point, a couple teams have overtaken them, so a win is really important. We have a stalemate after 1. And let's see what the second quarter has to offer. North kicked 2 goals 3, so not great, if we're going to be honest, if they wanted any chance of picking up points. And the D's, you already knew that they were going to do something along those lines of kicking near the maximum. I mean, it always happens in Melbourne games, so It was just a matter of what quarter. However, North have fought back well and have given themselves a very good chance of winning. And the D's, I mean, we're nearly where we were at quarter time. Nearly a stalemate. It's a 1-point lead to the D's going into the last, and North Melbourne have kicked inaccurately in the last. But the D's are going to need 4 goals to win. Let's see what they get. Oh no, they've lost. They put their foot off the gas, and North Melbourne, against the odds, have picked up all 4. Next up is bottom placed Adelaide and 7th placed St Kilda. The Crows have just been sitting on the bottom for ages. Have picked up 1 win in the first 9 weeks of the season. Kicked 3 goals, 5 to start, and actually lead at quarter time, which, I mean, is pretty rare given their record so far, and they've actually played a really good first half. But you already know that they're probably going to throw that one away. The Saints matched the Crows in terms of output in that second quarter. Both teams kicking 5 goals, 5. Third quarter, 3 goals, 1 for the Crows, so that could pose as a problem. If the Saints kick 6, it's going to be hard to catch up at 3-quarter time. And look at that, I have just spoken it into existence. And the Saints lead by 20, so they're going to have to kick the maximum here. And they do not. Are they even going to make what the Saints scored at 3-quarter time? Probably not. They kick 100 points right at the death, but unfortunately the Saints can't kick less than 6 points or 7 points. So any score will do, and they pick up a pretty good win against the Crows. Next up, we have the dream time at the G Clash, and it is Richmond taking on Essendon. Essendon actually the better outfit. Obviously in past seasons it's been the Tigers who have ruled these games, but let's see what the world of Dice Footy has to offer in that respect. The Bombers currently lead, as their ladder positions would suggest. The Bombers were coming into this heavy favourites. Richmond have had a very poor first half, haven't really hit the scoreboard, and it was backed up with an equally shit defensive performance. They've conceded 20 scoring shots in a half. Third quarter for the Tigers is much better. But look, they're just, at the moment, they're going to need some very good defense in the second half, and look at that. I mean, that's not going to help you one bit. And just like that, the game is pretty much over. I mean, nothing else said. And the Tigers cracked 10 goals, but man, they are going to get flogged. I mean, the Bombers could get some much needed percentage, given they are one of the teams with 5 wins, and they probably don't do it as much as they would have liked, but they still pick up the win by about 11 goals. What would be considered a pretty boring game, especially in real life, given how these teams are performing. GWS taking on West Coast. GWS start with a bang, and the Eagles, basically flip the goals and the behinds around, and the Eagles have got it. They trail at quarter time, second quarter. I can't even say my words correctly. It is that kind of hour. Giants have started pretty well, and the Eagles, I mean, just shit, man. That is real life if I've ever seen it. I mean, 1 goals 2 is West Coast bread and butter, basically. If you think about it, I mean, they can't kick more than 3 goals in a half of footy. If we go back to what we're actually paying attention to right now, the Eagles actually doubled their score in that third quarter from what they had in the first half. But you would sense it's probably not going to be enough. The Giants have done enough in the first 3 to give themselves, that buffer, and they will win. It's just a matter of how much. The Eagles pick up 3 goals, 4 in the last quarter, but still lose pretty convincingly. Another clash between two sides that are in that really mediocre part of the ladder. Hawthorn are taking on Brisbane. Hawthorn start equally well as GWS did in the game prior. 6 goals to their name. And so did Brisbane. 6 goals, 5. So despite conceding 37 points, they still lead. No problems. Second quarter for Hawthorn, not too bad. 8 goals, 6 at the main change. Would have loved to have been more accurate though. And the Lions, who have been a very mid team in this I don't even know, this simulation, have actually done pretty well in the first half here. third quarter for the Hawks, who actually had a really good start to the year as well. I think it's very easy to forget that. Both in real life and on the world of Dice Footy, or in the world of Dice Footy. The lines are up at three-quarter time, though. And, well, the Hawks have made this really interesting by kicking a bag in the last quarter. Lions are going to need to kick 3 goals too, and generally, they throw this. Oh, no. Oh, my God. They are so damn lucky that they didn't do that again. They win this one by 2 points, but boy, oh boy, it was not convincing. Last game of the round, it is the actual 17th place side, Fremantle, taking on Collingwood at Optus. And Fremantle start pretty well. Collingwood, who also, much like Hawthorn, had a pretty good start to the year in this Dice Footy sim. They've dropped off in the last few weeks and they trail at quarter time. The Dockers end the first half kicking 6 goals. Unbelievable stuff. And the Pies do the absolute contrary and kick 1. So 2 different ends of the spectrum there. Pretty disappointing stuff. And the Dockers just keep on going, minding their own business, quietly racking up some good percentage. And the Pies crack 50, but they're going to need to salvage something here because a loss could see them going down the table purely because their percentage is arse. Luckily, they held Fremantle to a goal, and it's all good and well if they kick 6. They got somewhat close to that, and even though they lose honourably and closer than they should have. So as you can see, here are the results, and here is the ladder as it stands after round 10. You can see there are once again some big movers. We're seeing the table to start to, find a little bit of separation. Start of the round, there's about 10 teams on 5 wins. That has been sliced by a few. Essendon have just come out of nowhere and are now in third, and the D's, who were pretty much on top for a lot of the year, are now sitting at that bottom half of the 8. You've also got St Kilda moving back up. Gold Coast went from about 4th to 10th in one round, which is just mental. And you've still got the Cellar Dwellers as usual. The Crows are just, as I said in previous weeks, they're just putting themselves in isolation, basically. They've got no hope of getting really past the bottom 4. And I mean, would you look at that? The Swans have 7 wins and are under 100%. This is just a nuts year. And Brisbane, who have been pretty mediocre for a lot of the year, have actually swept under the radar, and they are on 6 wins in 6th place, mind you, on an even worse percentage than Sydney, 92%. This season is unbelievable. But yeah, that's it from me. So I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for round 11 next Thursday, 4 p.m. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.